What was that? Excuse me, Rangers. What was that? Was that your attempt at a game against the Devils? That's what we're going with? That's the product you put out? Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Rangers, you can clearly tell tonight. And I'm here to recap Game 14 of the regular season. It feels like we are so much farther than 14 games into the season, good lord. Rangers lose 5-2. We outshot them 39-37, I do believe, or 36. No, it was 37. Now, this is going to be a long one tonight because I am so angry at so many things. Rangers, what was that? That's what you're putting out there? No, we didn't get shut out, but this was the biggest laying of an egg so far this season. This is so much worse than the 1-0 loss against Boston. This is so infinitely worse than that game. Because, hey, yeah, we got shut out, but Boston's a fantastic team. Tuukka Rask is a great goalie. He's an all-star. He was nominated for the Vezina last year. There's no shame in that. We lost tonight. Let me rephrase this. We did not lose. We got humiliated. We got murdered. We got destroyed by a team that hasn't practiced in almost 2 weeks. Yesterday was their first practice. Actually, no, it was over 2 weeks since their last practice because it was a 15-day gap between games. Yesterday was their first team practice, and they slaughtered us all night. Even when we were making it seem close, it was a blowout. Even when it was 0-0 after the first period, we were getting embarrassed by the Devils, who again hadn't practiced in 15 days going into yesterday. There's so much to get into. There's so much. I have so many notes. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I don't think this is Shesterkin's fault. I think he was fine. I think a few of the goals were kind of, I don't think they were, let me rephrase this. One goal, 100% his fault. One goal, I would say, is sort of what are you going to do? The Trouba thing, that was, what are you going to do? One of them, ungodly tip. That was, how are you going to stop that? The other one, kind of his fault, kind of on the fact that we, couldn't clear the puck. I'm going to get into all that, but I want to just get ahead of it by saying, I think Shesterkin did really well. I have tons of notes talking about great Shesterkin saves, and they all deserve being talked about. But I'm not going to, take a lot of time to talk about them because there's so much that I have to blow through, and I just wanted to say, I know he gave up 4 goals. I understand that. I don't pin this on Shesterkin. I pin this on a lot of things. So immediately getting into it, 29 seconds into the game, there was this weird hit on Mika Zibanejad. I thought it was fine. I didn't like, the fact that he might have gotten injured from it. I thought it was a fine hit. I didn't think it was dirty or anything. I think it was just a good check that happened to have him fall weird. Kreider thought otherwise. He got into a fight. Cool. They'd both get major penalties for fighting. Cool story. That happens a little bit later on, 17:56. Shesterkin on his side or on his back reaches his glove out, makes a fantastic save to rob a goal. I will say this also, and this is not a shot at Alexander Georgiev. He's a good goalie. He's a great backup. If Georgiev was in net tonight, at least 9 goals. I'm sorry. There were 4 saves at least that were so unbelievable by Shesterkin. Georgiev and net, again, I'm not trying to be mean to Georgiev because I like him. At least 9 goals. I'm sorry. This was... So that happens a little bit later on. 17:31 left. A 2-on-1 coming into the Rangers zone. And a great save moving to his left by Igor Shesterkin. Most of the first period was just, wow, what a good save by Shesterkin. Wow, what a good save by Shesterkin. Wow, what a good save by Shesterkin. You know why? Because they had 16 shots in the first period. So that happens a little bit later on, 7:35 left in the game. He robs another goal. A little bit later on, 5:50. This was a little bit weird. Maybe it should have been tripping on the Devils. I think they kind of tripped Lemieux. I thought it could have been tripping, but at the same time, I thought they're sitting there, and I was like, you know what? Does it even matter though? We would have just blown the power play. We've been doing that all season. We can't. Our power play is comically bad. So I wasn't even that mad at that point. A little bit later on, a minute '05 left in the period. A great glove save. I believe it was on Jack Hughes. Great save by Shesterkin. 44 seconds left in the period. Kreider puts the puck over the glass. It's a power play for the Devils. We killed the first one off. We wouldn't kill the second one off. Why? So that happens. The first period ends. Shesterkin has faced 16 shots. That's it. He faced 16 shots. It's a miracle with how many shots that we were giving up. They didn't have a few goals. There were the 2-on-1 could have easily been a goal. The one where he was going to his side could have easily been a goal. It could have easily been 2 or 3-0 after that first period. Like, it was a miracle it was not. A little bit later on, 19 minutes left in the second period. Rooney had a nice takeaway, like right in front of the net, and backhands. It doesn't quite go in almost. It was a really nice save by Blackwell. Now, again, I will also say this. Blackwell, I believe it's Mackenzie Blackwell. Very good game. Very good game, sir. Tip the cap to you. You did fantastic. But that's not the point that I'm trying to make tonight. That's not what I'm concerned about. Getting into this. So we kill off that penalty that makes 22 in a row that would get snapped a little bit later on. I ironically wrote, if it were not for the penalty kill and Shesterkin, there would not be that much to talk about positive over the last few games. That's painfully accurate. And, yeah, that's sort of a depiction of the game. 17:56 left in the game. Strome, for a moment, looks like he scored, but then they don't even have to replay it. They just kind of look at it and they're like, hey, buddy, you can't just grab the puck and throw it in and go, hey, I scored! It would be very entertaining if you could do that, and it'd be very funny if you could, but that's not how the rules work, my fine sir. A little bit later on, 16:22, Lemieux had a wide open net. I think it was tipped by Blackwood. It might have been tipped by someone. I know it was tipped, and it would have been it was a good shot by Lemieux. I thought he played fine. Still nothing. A little bit later on, 13:23 left. A Mika Zibanejad penalty for roughing. I'm a little mixed on it. I thought maybe he kind of did throw his elbow into him. At the same time, he took a puck to the face, so maybe he just couldn't really see, and I think this is a natural reaction if you get hit in the face to raise your arm up to try to be like, oh, that did not feel good. So I'm a little mixed on it. I thought maybe it shouldn't have been a penalty. Maybe it should. It was a penalty, so whatever. And because, everything sucks, a minute later, 12:23, Devils score on the power play. Now, I will say this. I give Shesterkin a lot of credit. Maybe I'm too easy on him. That's certainly a possibility. This is a terrible goal. He just didn't see it. He didn't track it. His reaction was bad. It was over the glove a little bit. I think maybe he thought he was going to grab it, but he didn't. This was 100% on Shesterkin. I don't care that it was a power play. That was a terrible goal to give up, and you can't be doing that. Now, he is a rookie, but that is irrelevant. I'm not going to use that excuse. This was a bad goal by Shesterkin to give up, and it kind of broke my heart. So that happens a little bit later. A positive note, 8:28 left in the period. Brett Howden carries it into the zone. Apparently, Jacob Trouba got an assist on this one, I believe. Might have been the other one, but it was one of these. So Howden takes it into the zone. He just does a little drop-off pass, and freaking Colin Blackwell, he was the last one out of our zone. He was just trotting along, and he goes, oh, look, a puck. And then a ringer off the top post. It's a goal. 1-1 Colin Blackwell. I thought Colin Blackwell played very good tonight. Another couple of players played really good tonight, and I'll get into those in a second. But Colin Blackwell, fantastic goal. 1-1 ties it up. Good job. Good job for us. About 6:30 left in the period. After this point, we had sustained quite a long bit of pressure. And I gotta say this. I think one of the most underrated Rangers this season is Kaapo Kakko. I know he doesn't have much to show for it. I understand that. But he has been skating hard, putting the puck on net. He has been playing his heart out all year. And eventually, this amount of hard work, this amount of determination is going to pay off for Kaapo Kakko. I know it. So that happens a little bit later on. 2:46 left in the period. God, this hurts. The Devils, they take a shot kind of towards the goal, and it banks off of, I believe it was Trouba's leg. It could have been his thigh. It doesn't matter. somewhere around there, banks off of him, goes into the net, 2-1 Devils. Now, this is another goal where it's like, look, could he have stopped it? Yes. Yes, he could have. Now, am I going to get mad because Shesterkin didn't stop a puck that hit off his own teammate? Coincidentally, this is the second goal against the Rangers this year that was technically, if it was in the scorebook, because if it would touched last, scored by a Ranger defenseman. The first one was Ryan Lindgren. We all remember that game, or at least I do every time I close my eyes. This is another one. It sucks. I mean, this one, again, I'm not putting it on Shesterkin that much. It sucked. So that's the thing that happened. A little bit later on, 32 seconds left in the period, Kreider gets control of it in the zone, passes it over to Buchnevich. Big drive by Buchnevich. It's 2-2. He scores, and I'm like, all right. You know what? It's 2-2 now. We're going to go into the third period. We're going to be tied. Maybe since we scored, and then a little bit later, there was a turnover right in the Ranger zone, and Shesterkin had a nice save. Maybe going into the third period, we can do something like, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, win, take a lead. Maybe nothing bad'll happen in the third period, I thought to myself. Oh boy, but then stuff happened in the third period. So immediately Trouba left with an injury. I believe it was upper body, which, that was fantastic. That meant our defensive core was basically nothing. At that point, it was, I'm going to do this off of memory, Fox, Lingrid, Potato, Brendan Smith, Labor Hayak. I mean, it was basically toasted at that point. 9-17 in the period. Subban shoots from the point, gets a nasty tip, and goes right in the net, just barely over Shesterkin's pad and under his glove. Again, I'm not super upset. I think they said it got tipped twice. I only saw one. Regardless, it was such a nasty tip. I mean, in a way, if he would have stopped it, it would have almost been on accident. But that's another goal. Again, I'm not going to be upset, and I'm not going to argue if someone says, I think it was on Shesterkin. It was, maybe you could have stopped it, whatever. Moving on, a little bit later, 5:49 left in the period. The Rangers, for like a solid minute, just can't clear and stop the pressure in our own zone. And it gets a feed right out. Boom. Devils go up 4-2 at that point. Now, at this point, I was so simultaneously sad and angry. I'm not a ragey person. Often, I know that's very hard to believe. My irritation usually stops at just screaming about it. I've never broken anything from anger. And this is a little, keyboard that I used to type all my notes on. I got it right to about here before I stopped myself. I was maybe 0.2 seconds away from having my keyboard be in about 50 different pieces all over that room. It's about, I was so close to just destroying it. I'm like, it's okay. The keyboard didn't fail to clear the puck multiple times. It's not the keyboard's fault, Weston. Don't blame it on the Rangers' poor defensive play. So that happens. Golly. That was about it. 20 seconds left. The Devils, not the Rangers, certainly not the Rangers scoring a goal. Devils get a third goal in the period to make it 5-2 on an empty netter. Oh, God. All right. What do I have to say about this game? There's so much, man. I think Shesterkin is going to get a bad rap. I thought he played very well. He had so many incredible highlight reel saves. I mean, and again, I don't mean this as insulting to Georgiev. This is not Georgiev slander. If he's in net, it's at least 9 goals. There's at least 4 other ones that were just such unreal stops by Igor tonight that it's a blowout. It already was a blowout. I'll say this. I think this is an absolute embarrassment for the Rangers team. I think, again, it's so hard to say. If Dan Quinn has not been on the hot seat, his butt needs to be burning right now. It's just a fact. This is embarrassing. You're playing a team that hasn't practiced until yesterday, hadn't practiced in 2 weeks. They haven't played this month, and we are quite a ways into it. It's embarrassing. It is flat out embarrassing. And gosh, I mean, I don't know how you look at some of these games and the failure of coaching and not fire Dan Quinn. Or David Quinn, excuse me. I'm thinking about the Falcons. Like, this was hard. This was rough. I don't know how we lose this game. There is no reason whatsoever. Now, obviously, you might say, once the game started, it's different. Going into this game, there is no reason we should have lost. There isn't. We should have been playing angry. We had a 1-goal loss, super close game in the first game against Boston. We lost 1-0. We got shut out and only allowed 1 goal in the second game against Boston. We should have been riding into this game angry. Super angry. We should have been playing with passion. And we just didn't. We just failed. It's embarrassing. It's unacceptable if you want to get parental about it. It's hard. Our defense is so hot and cold. Also, I'll say this. It's insane. I think, we have a few good defensemen, and so when they're on ice, we look very good. I know he wasn't there tonight. When Keandre Miller's playing, when Fox is playing, when Lingrid's playing, when Trouba's playing most of the time, our defense looks good. It's when the other ones get subbed in that our defense kind of falls apart. Or we'll just have one defensive gaffe with the other ones. And it's insane. It's so hot and cold. Our offense is dead for the past few games. Like, what? This is the 3rd goal in 3 games? That's unacceptable. We had 39 shots on goal. For some reason, we can just keep putting them on goal. We had, I believe, like 30 in the first game against Boston, like another 20-something in the second game against Boston, and we just can't score. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it feels like whenever we get a good shot that somewhat is open, we either aim right for the logo on the goalie's chest, or we bank it into the boards a mile away from the goal. But that feels like every time we get a good shooting opportunity, that's what we do. This is the 4th straight loss, and this is embarrassing. Again, this is a team who took a sabbatical from hockey. They took a 2-week hiatus. And they came into our house. I understand there's no fans there. So I understand the home ice advantage isn't that. But they came into your house, Rangers, and they murdered you 5-2. That happened. I gotta go into this as well. Kaapo Kakko played fantastic. It sucks that he keeps playing good games and just isn't scoring. It's a shame. I'm somewhat angry about this. He had 16 minutes of ice time. I felt like he was out there constantly. He had 16 minutes of ice time. Lebor Hayak had 20. Now, I understand that, we didn't have a defenseman. We were out Trouba for the last period. I understand that. But Kaapo Kakko needs to get more ice time. He has been, aside from Panarin, if you're looking at it from a strictly how they've played, if you're not looking at points, if you're not looking at any of the statistics like that, if you're watching the game, how are they playing? Kaapo Kakko is easily our second best player. Aside from Panarin, who obviously, was out tonight. He's easily the best. Outside of Panarin. He's played really well this season. It's driving me nuts. He played well. Let me rephrase this. He was easily the best player tonight. He played unreal tonight. Colin Blackwell was playing really well. Philip DiGiuseppe has been playing well all year. He's been skating hard. Give these players more ice time. It's that simple. And I don't care anymore. I was still in the camp of like, yeah, well, you gotta give some of the older players more. No, I don't care anymore. Give the players who are currently playing well the ice time. Now, I like Mika Zibanejad a whole lot. I like a lot of our players a whole lot. Him, Kreider, I like our players. But when they have played not good so far in the season, I don't think it's outlandish for me to say that Zibanejad has played very subpar this year. Take away some of his ice time, give it to the players who this year, now again, career-wise, yeah, Zibanejad is a very good player. This season, and again, I like him, I think he can break out of it. This season, he's been terrible. Give these players who are earning it, who are playing well, who are earning the ice time. David Quinn, please. It's not that hard. It really shouldn't be. This game was extremely hard to watch. And I just kept thinking, I thought this, like, most of the third period, I couldn't stop thinking of it. Back in 93, 94, when the Rangers, won the Stanley Cup, there was a quote in an early game against Anaheim where Mike Keenan said, if you guys aren't going to play, I'm not going to coach, when we were getting embarrassed in a game. And all I could think tonight was, until you guys start playing better, I'm not going to be getting super emotionally invested in these games. This was bad. This was an incredibly bad game. We play Philadelphia Thursday, and they're a whole lot better than the Devils. So, again, if you're looking at it like that, obviously we're not, but by that logic, we should get murdered like 20 goals to nothing. Like, it's rough. It's rough. Goals tonight were by Pavel Buchnevich and Colin Blackwell. The assists were by Jacob Trouba, Brett Howden, and Chris Kreider. I will see you guys Thursday after the Flyers game. Thank you all so very much for watching. Hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. And go Rangers.